There was one man whose funny walk, tiny mustache, and silent expressions made the entire world laugh. A man who rose from deep poverty to become one of the most legendary figures in film history. This is the extraordinary life of Charlie Chaplin, actor, director, composer, comedian, and one of the greatest storytellers the world has ever known. Charlie Chaplin was a legendary English comedic actor, filmmaker, and composer who rose to fame during the silent film era. He is widely regarded as one of the most important figures in the history of the film industry, known for his iconic Little Tramp character. His career spanned over 75 years, during which he became a global cinematic icon. Step back in time to explore the extraordinary life and enduring legacy of one of cinema's greatest pioneers, Charlie Chaplin. This documentary takes you on a captivating journey through the rags-to-riches story of the man behind the iconic Little Tramp, whose silent films spoke volumes to audiences worldwide. Charlie Chaplin was born Charles Spencer Chaplin on April 16, 1889, in London, England. He was British by nationality. His parents, Hannah Chaplin and Charles Chaplin Sr., were both entertainers in the London music hall industry, but their marriage was unstable, and the family struggled with poverty. His father battled alcoholism and provided little support. His mother, though talented, suffered from mental health issues that worsened over the years. Charlie's childhood was far from easy. He lived in workhouses and shelters for the poor. His mother was eventually committed to a mental institution. His father died when Charlie was just 12. He experienced hunger, homelessness, and hardship. But from these struggles, he developed a deep understanding of human emotion, especially the lives of the poor and forgotten. This emotional sensitivity would later become the heart of his films. From his impoverished childhood in Victorian London to his meteoric rise as a global superstar and groundbreaking filmmaker in Hollywood, we uncover the pivotal moments that shaped Chaplin's genius. I discover how he revolutionized comedy, mastered the art of visual storytelling, and used his platform to comment on social inequalities, industrialization, and the human condition. Through rare archival footage, classic film clips, and historical insights, we delve into the creation of his masterpieces like The Kid, The Gold Rush, City Lights, Modern Times, and The Great Dictator. We'll examine his innovative filmmaking techniques, his complex personal life, and the controversies that shadowed his later career, including his exile from the United States. The Tramp's legacy is not just a chronicle of a film star, it's a deep dive into the evolution of cinema itself and the timeless appeal of a character who, despite never uttering a word, became a universal symbol of hope, resilience, and the enduring spirit of humanity. Join us as we celebrate the comedic genius, the visionary artist, and the man who taught the world to laugh, even in the darkest of times. The life and legacy of Charlie Chaplin, the iconic figure. In the pantheon of cinematic legends, few figures shine as brightly, cast as long a shadow as Charlie Chaplin. With a simple cane, a tiny mustache, and a pair of oversized shoes, he created a character, the Little Tramp, who would capture the hearts of millions across the globe. He was a master of silent comedy, a visionary filmmaker, and a man whose life story was as dramatic and compelling as any of his films. But who was the man behind the myth? And what made his art so profoundly enduring? Comment below. London's gritty beginnings, childhood and early family life. Our story begins not in the glamour of Hollywood, but in the harsh realities of Victorian London. Charles Spencer Chaplin was born on April 16, 1889, in Walworth, London. His nationality was British, a fact that would become a point of contention later in his life. His parents, Hannah and Charles Chaplin Sr., were music hall entertainers, a world of song, dance, and, often, struggle. But the idyllic image of a performing family quickly crumbled. His father, a heavy drinker, was largely absent and tragically died when Charlie was just 12 years old. His mother, Hannah, a fragile but resilient woman, struggled with mental illness, leading to periods in asylums. Young Charlie and his older half-brother Sidney were often left to fend for themselves, spending time in workhouses and orphanages. These early experiences, the poverty, the separation from family, the resilience required to survive, would deeply scar Chaplin, but also profoundly shape his art, imbuing the Tramp with both vulnerability and unwavering spirit. The stage calls, early professional career in UK and US. Even amidst hardship, Chaplin's talent couldn't be contained. By the age of 5, he was already performing on stage, filling in for his mother. He joined a clog dancing troupe, the 8 Lancashire Lads, and quickly proved his comedic timing. But it was with the prestigious Fred Carnot's comedy company that Chaplin truly honed his craft. Carnot's troupe was a breeding ground for comedic talent, and here, Chaplin developed the meticulous physical comedy and improvisational skills that would define his career. Despite his difficult childhood, Chaplin found a source of joy: performing. At just 8 years old, he joined a dance group called the 8 Lancashire Lads, where he learned physical comedy, timing, pantomime, and stage expression. By his early teens, he was performing in theaters around London. His natural charisma caught attention quickly. At age 19, Chaplin was hired by the prestigious Fred Carnot Company, the most successful comedy troupe in England. With Carnot, Chaplin toured the United States in 1910. He performed on crowded stages, impressing American audiences with his expressive face and physical humor. What he didn't know was that Hollywood was about to discover him. In 1910, at the tender age of 21, Chaplin toured the United States with Carnot's company. It was during this tour that his fate was sealed. The burgeoning American film industry was hungry for new talent, and Chaplin's stage performances caught the eye of Max Sennett, the head of Keystone Studios. In 1913, Chaplin signed his first film contract. The world of celluloid awaited. The birth of an icon, the Tramp and Keystone years. Chaplin's arrival at Keystone was initially met with resistance. He found the studio's slapstick approach crude compared to his refined stage work. But within weeks, an idea sparked. For a short film called Kid Auto Races at Venice, Chaplin was told to put on a comedy makeup. He improvised, borrowing elements from various characters: baggy trousers from Fatty Arbuckle, a small coat from another actor, a mustache that made him look older, and those iconic oversized shoes. He added a cane and a distinctive waddle. The little tramp was born. This character, a dignified but penniless vagrant, instantly resonated with audiences. He was an underdog, a survivor, a dreamer facing a harsh world with wit and a touch of melancholic charm. Chaplin quickly transcended mere acting. He began directing his own shorts, learning every aspect of filmmaking. He understood the camera, the rhythm of a scene, and the emotional impact of a silent gesture. By 1915, just 2 years after joining Keystone, Chaplin was a global phenomenon and the most popular entertainer in the world. One day, in 1914, Chaplin walked into the costume room and assembled a strange outfit: bowler hat, cane, tight coat, baggy pants, oversized shoes, toothbrush mustache. With this simple costume, he created the Tramp, also known as the Little Fellow. The Tramp was poor but dignified, funny but emotional, clumsy but kind, a dreamer in a harsh world. His funny walk became instantly iconic. Audiences across the world fell in love. The Tramp became one of the most recognizable characters in cinematic history. Chaplin didn't just perform, but also he wrote, directed, produced, and edited his films, something almost no one else did at the time. Artist and independent, Mutual, First National, and United Artists. Chaplin's ambition grew beyond just acting. He wanted complete creative control. He moved to S&A, then Mutual Film Corporation, where he directed some of his most acclaimed early shorts, like The Pawn Shop and The Immigrant. He then signed an unprecedented deal with First National, earning $1 million for 8 films, including his first full-length feature, The Kid, 1921, a poignant masterpiece that blended comedy with deep emotion, clearly reflecting his own difficult childhood. But true independence came in 1919 when Chaplin co-founded United Artists with Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and D.W. Griffith. This bold move allowed him unprecedented autonomy, a luxury few filmmakers of his era enjoyed. United Artists was a revolutionary concept, putting creative power directly into the hands of artists. It was here that Chaplin would produce his most complex and enduring works, solidifying his status not just as a comedian, but as a serious artist. The Golden Age of Chaplin, masterpieces, and the arrival of sound. The 1920s and 30s marked Chaplin's golden age. Films like The Gold Rush, 1925, where the tramp famously eats his shoe, and The Circus, 1928, were immense successes. But as the world embraced talking pictures, Chaplin famously resisted. He believed the tramp's universal appeal lay in his silence, that words would break the delicate illusion. His next two masterpieces, City Lights, 1931, and Modern Times, 1936, were released as silent films, albeit with synchronized music and sound effects, all composed by Chaplin himself. City Lights, a romantic drama about the tramp's love for a blind flower girl, is often hailed as his greatest artistic achievement. Modern Times satirized the dehumanizing effects of industrialization, becoming a powerful social commentary. Even without spoken dialogue, Chaplin's films addressed profound themes, proving the power of visual storytelling. Though he left America, Chaplin continued writing and composing. After 2 decades away, Hollywood finally recognized his genius, later years, and returned to Hollywood. In 1972, he was invited to the United States to receive an honorary Academy Award. When he walked onto the stage, the audience gave him a 12-minute standing ovation, one of the longest in Oscar history. For Chaplin, it was a moment of forgiveness, respect, and emotional closure. He spent his final years in Switzerland, surrounded by family. Charlie Chaplin passed away peacefully on December 25, 1977, at age 88. Achievements and awards. Charlie Chaplin's achievements are extraordinary. Over 80 films. Honorary Oscar for Lifetime Achievement. Knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in 1975. A founding member of United Artists. Considered one of the greatest filmmakers in history. Innovator of storytelling, music, and editing. His iconic character, the Tramp, became a global symbol. Chaplin transformed cinema and pushed its boundaries. Some of his greatest films was 1. The Kid, 1921. Chaplin's first feature film. A story of a poor man raising an orphaned boy. Heartbreaking and hilarious, it showcased Chaplin's talent for blending comedy with emotion. 2. The Gold Rush, 1925. Chaplin plays a prospector searching for gold in Alaska. The film includes iconic scenes like the dancing dinner rolls and the shoe-eating scene. Chaplin called it the film I want to be remembered for. 3. City Lights, 1931. A silent film released after talkies had already taken over. A romantic comedy about a blind girl and a poor tramp. The ending is considered one of the greatest in film history. 4. Modern Times, 1936. Chaplin criticizes industrialization and how machines are controlling human lives. The film features famous scenes like Chaplin caught in the giant gears, the nonsense song he sings, his commentary on poverty and unemployment. 5. The Great Dictator, 1940. Chaplin's boldest film. A direct parody of Adolf Hitler. He delivered one of the most powerful speeches ever recorded. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. The film challenged tyranny at a time when the world desperately needed hope. 6. Limelight, 1952. A tender story of an aging comedian reflecting on his life, dreams, triumphs, and failures. 7. Monsieur Verdoux, 1947. A dark comedy criticizing capitalism and war. Through these films, Chaplin created cinema that was emotional, thoughtful, political, and timeless. Politics, controversy, and exile. Later career and personal life. Chaplin's fame brought immense scrutiny, not just to his films, but to his personal life. He had several marriages, often to much younger women, which attracted considerable gossip. But it was his growing political outspokenness that truly ignited controversy. During the 1940s and 1950s, Chaplin faced political pressure from the U.S. government because he spoke about peace, poverty, human rights, and anti-war ideas. He was accused without evidence of being a communist supporter. The FBI investigated him for years. In The Great Dictator, 1940, Chaplin broke his silence, delivering a passionate speech condemning fascism and anti-Semitism, famously playing both a Jewish barber and a Hitler-esque dictator. While lauded by many, it also drew the ire of some anti-communists in the United States, who saw his social commentary as subversive. Coupled with a scandalous paternity suit and his marriages, Chaplin became a target during the McCarthy era. Chaplin married 4 times. 1. Mildred Harris. 2. Leda Gray. 3. Paulette Goddard. 4. Una O'Neill, his final wife, whom he married when he was 54 and she was 18. Despite criticism over age differences, his marriage to Una lasted 34 years until his death. With Una, Chaplin had 8 children and found stability and happiness. His children later said Chaplin was a strict but loving father, creative, curious, and gentle. Accused of communist sympathies and moral turpitude, Chaplin's re-entry permit to the U.S. was revoked in 1952 while he was en route to London for a film premiere. Effectively exiled, Chaplin settled in Vevey, Switzerland with his 4th and final wife, Una O'Neill, with whom he found lasting happiness and had 8 children. His nationality became a symbol of his statelessness in Hollywood's eyes, yet he remained fiercely British at heart, despite his long absence from his homeland. The world remembers return to U.S. and honors. Despite the heartache of exile, Chaplin continued to create, though less frequently. His final films, Limelight, 1952, and A King in New York, 1957, explored themes of aging and political persecution. For 2 decades, America remained closed to him. But time, as it often does, brought reconciliation. In 1972, Chaplin was invited back to the United States to receive an honorary Academy Award. The reception was overwhelming, a standing ovation that lasted an astounding 12 minutes, a testament to his enduring impact. 3 years later, in 1975, he was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II, becoming Sir Charles Chaplin, a full-circle moment for the boy from the London workhouse. Charlie Chaplin passed away peacefully on December 25, 1977, at the age of 88, in Switzerland, but his death was merely a transition from mortal man to immortal legend. The legacy, his impact and timelessness. Charlie Chaplin's legacy is immense and multifaceted. He was a pioneer who helped define the art of filmmaking, a visionary who championed artistic independence, and a composer who crafted unforgettable scores. His professional career wasn't just about entertainment, it was about connecting with the deepest parts of the human experience. The Little Tramp, a character born of personal hardship and brilliant observation, remains one of the most recognizable and beloved figures in cinematic history. He represents the resilience of the human spirit, the dignity of the common man, and the enduring power of laughter and tears. From his humble British beginnings to his global superstardom and eventual exile, Chaplin's life was a testament to his unwavering commitment to his art. He proved that even without words, a single artist could speak to the entire world, leaving an imprint that continues to inspire, entertain, and move us, generation after generation. Charlie Chaplin was more than a comedian. He was a storyteller, a poet of movement, and a voice for the voiceless. He starts from the poverty of London's streets to the pinnacle of Hollywood. His journey is a reminder that even the smallest figure can make the biggest impact. His life continues to inspire, and his films continue to touch hearts across generations. This was the life story of Charlie Chaplin, the man who turned silence into laughter and comedy into art. What's your favorite Charlie Chaplin film or moment? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the life of a cinematic titan, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more historical deep dives, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next upload. Thanks for watching.